Project Veritas uncovered voter fraud in 2016.
Mr. Reagan.
So in 2016, as you know, the federal election for president was between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And the amazing people, some of whom I know, I'm good friends with, great people, they looked into what was going on in 2016 with the Democrats and voter fraud. Now, we're constantly hearing from the Democrats right now on television, and, maybe those of us who know some Democrats, even from our friends, saying, come on, don't be ridiculous. Voter fraud is impossible. It never happens. If you post something about voter fraud on Twitter and you have a blue check, they will immediately write that this tweet is disputed. And if you click on that link, it says something like voter fraud is very rare, never happens, nothing to see here. Don't believe this. There's no such thing as voter fraud. I don't even know what the word fraud means. What is that word? I don't even know it. So there's all this push to sort of gaslight Americans right now from the left and say no voter fraud, even though we can see obviously that's true. Well, this is a very important video, what I'm about to show you. Now, this is something that you can find on Project Veritas' website, or you can uncover it by looking for it on YouTube, but it's something that I think has been forgotten in this particular election cycle, that Project Veritas actually uncovered a bunch of Democrats trying to commit voter fraud in 2016. They uncovered this. I think at the time, maybe Project Veritas wasn't big enough for people to have been, for this to be on their radar, for people to be aware of it, because I didn't even know about this until I was looking into some stuff this year because of the current election. And I stumbled upon this video and I thought, wow, this is something that people need to see. So I'm going to pull out the most appropriate clips for you guys to watch. And without further ado, this is the Project Veritas uncovering of Democrat fraud in 2016.
It's a very easy thing for Republicans to say, well, they're busting people in. Well, you know what? We've been busting people in, you fucking asshole, for 50 years, and we're not going to stop now. We're just going to find a different way to do it. So, I grew up with that idea. They used to bust people out to Iowa. If we needed people out there, we used to bust people out to Iowa. I think backwards from how they would prosecute if they could, and then try to build out the method to avoid that. They could invalidate, well, okay, let's just say in theory, if a major investigation came up of major vote fraud that way, how would they prove it and who would they charge? Would they charge each individual with voter fraud?
See, that's what I'm saying.
Are they going to go after the facilitator for conspiracy, which they could prove? And it's one thing if all these people drive up in their personal cars. There's a bus involved. That changes the dynamic. So it's the legality. Well, yeah. Because you can prove conspiracy if there's a bus.
Yeah.
If there are cars, it's much harder to prove.
And there's enough money.
If there's enough money, then you have people drive their POV.
Absolutely.
Or you have them drive rentals.
Yeah, with Wisconsin license plates.
Absolutely. Well, you can't have them with Wisconsin license plates because rentals here, most of them don't have Wisconsin license plates.
Oh.
But there's these things called used car auctions. Used car auctions, the titles belong to some unknown company. They're company cars.
And these are multiple employers. These are not all one employer.
Use shell companies.
Yeah.
Cars come from one company, the paychecks come from another. There's no bus involved, so you can't prove that it's en masse.
There you go.
So it doesn't tip people off.
There you go.
That's what I'm saying.
See,
if the car has a Wisconsin license plate and is owned by a third entity, then it's much harder to prove that these people drove in from out of state. There's no bus involved, so you can't prove conspiracy. The question is whether when you get caught by a reporter, does that matter? Because does it turn into an investigation or not? In this case, in this state, the answer is no. Because they don't have any power to do anything.
Right. So this is sort of maybe not stuff for the general, but stuff to maybe hold off until.
No, I think you could do it for the general. You have to do it in multiple states.
Okay.
So what you do is you implement the plan on a much bigger scale. You implement a massive change in state legislatures and in Congress. So you aim higher for your goals, and then you implement it across every Republican-held state. That's honestly the ripest environment to do it in. Two, within striking distance. Michigan, Indiana, the least restrictive donation caps and campaign finance laws and investigation and any investigative arms and any of that. Like, they have weakened it so bad in these three states. So Bob Kramer comes up with a lot of these ideas. I work with Bob Kramer one-to-one all the time. I'm the white hat. Democracy Partners is kind of the dark hat. I will probably end up being a partner there at some point. Because our philosophy on things is actually the same.
What he was in a sense, was that this idea, and Scott made it seem possible, but said it wasn't possible to happen. But even though it was actually possible, is essentially getting a bunch of people, on a bus or whatever, taking them around the country. They legally can vote, so they can vote. At the same time, they're also getting work permits under a different name and voting again on behalf of people who cannot vote.
Right. Yeah, I was to say, can we make some effort, especially within the midterm elections in 2018? This is not going to happen, right?
I know that.
It's not gonna happen. So I think it's not about, for us, let's see who the next president is. If it's Donald Trump, it even makes more sense. The issue would be even more incredible and much more opportunity for us to jump into this.
Right.
If it's Secretary Clinton, the voting ID laws are loosened and we have much more opportunity for people to vote, and we have immigration reform, it's not going to be as significant, right?
If you cross the bridge, can I count it? Possibly help us do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Count me in.
You don't go off and tell these conversations to anybody.
No.
Because this is technically...
No, absolutely. As an activist, do we want to do this? Do we want to take a chance? Let's talk about it.
We have to do a better job of making our people do what they're supposed to do. Not asking them, making them, not expecting them and taking them for granted, but beating the shit out of them and making them do it. Like voters. Yeah.
So, for all of those Democrats out there that say there's no possibility that Democrats would ever commit voter fraud, I just say watch this video, because if you don't think Democrats commit voter fraud, you're out of your mind. And if you think these are the only people that were doing it in 2016, you're not thinking clearly. Okay, and if you think that 2016 was the last time that Democrats would ever try to commit voter fraud, then you're just being naive. All right, well, that's it for me. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification button for more videos like this. I got a bunch of stuff coming up, real red flags, real indications of voter fraud I'm going to post. So go ahead and hit that notification bell and subscribe to the channel. Thanks. I will see you guys next time.
And it's been said, if we lose that war, and in so doing lose this way of freedom of ours, history will record with the greatest astonishment that those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening.
Someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.